Okay, guys, it is a very sunny day today, and yesterday Trump landed in China, and everyone's focused on him meeting Xi, them wanting cooperation, but everyone's ignoring the elephant in the room. I don't know why. When I found out about this, I was shocked how no one else was talking about this. So look at this. So Trump has landed in China with the CEOs of America's biggest companies. We're talking trillion-dollar companies here. Elon Musk, Jensen Huang, Tim Cook, Larry Fink, Blackrock CEO. Um, we have a few missing here as well, actually, which I will show you. We also have over here, this is from the Chinese Twitter. We also have the Mastercard CEO, the Visa CEO, Blackstone and Blackrock CEO. I mean, I've never seen this before where a president brings in CEOs which are worth billions of dollars with him. Something big is clearly going to happen here. And not only that, of course, Trump has brung his whole cabinet. Scott Bessent, Pete Hegseth, Marco Rubio. I think we can see here the kind of people that are meeting. So look, you see you have Tim Cook there, Pete Hegseth, Scott Bessent, Jensen Huang on the right over here. You have Trump there with G, Elon Musk. So yeah, very high profile meeting, and I'm surprised that more people aren't talking about this. And this is very significant for the markets, of course. And it means there's some kind of massive deal on the horizon because why else would you bring your top guys if a big deal isn't going to get signed? In business, if you don't want to take someone seriously, you're going to, just bring your subordinate to deal with them. But if you actually take someone seriously, you're going to go there yourself if you're the head of the company, which is what's happening in this case. So this is very significant, and I can't tell you what kind of deal is going to happen, but clearly some kind of massive deal is going to get announced. And this explains why the stock market has been rising so much in the past few weeks on apparently bad news. You've had rising inflation, you've had the geopolitical uncertainty with the Iran stuff, but the stock market rising can be explained by this deal that the insiders already knew about, the insiders at these big companies. So you could have a certain deal where China can invest in these companies. They'll invest in data centers in the US. And in return, the US is going to give China energy, which they need. And, interestingly enough, they're also Chinese CEOs here. So here's quite a funny video of the CEO of Xiaomi asking Elon Musk for a selfie. I think Elon Musk has clearly had a bit too much to drink here. You can see all the wine on the table, or God knows what the alcohol is, but yeah, something big. So both sides are taking this meeting very seriously, and yeah. So if we get to our next point over here, so so essentially, yeah, Trump is trying to neutralize China. Trump is trying to make a deal with China first before he focuses on Iran. He's essentially trying to neutralize them. And it's actually in both of their best interests because China can get a bunch of energy and oil, which they need, from the US, from Venezuela, from Canada. Yes, China has Russian oil, but they don't want to be fully dependent on Russian oil. And Middle Eastern oil is just off the table. It's not reliable. Strait of Hormuz, no one even knows if that's going to be open or not. Uh, Because what China wants is they want cheap, reliable energy to sustain their big economy so that they can keep producing goods to sell to the world. They're happy with being the middleman. They don't want to be the world power. So I think this deal is in both America's interest and China's best interest, which explains why both sides are taking this really seriously. So yeah, because you have to think about it, guys. China are the world's top exporters by far. I think they're the world's, yeah, let me show you this first actually. So, because of the Trump tariffs, China can't isn't buying or America isn't exporting any more oil, any more energy to China. And before China said, "Oh, that's all right. We'll just buy more oil from the Middle East." But now that's not possible. So China's coming to the negotiating table. So they're trying to organize a deal with the US. And think about it, guys, okay? China's the world's top exporter by far. They're selling, and their biggest client is still America. So they're selling their Chinese goods and they're receiving American dollars. And before they would use these American dollars to buy Middle Eastern oil to fund their economy. But now that's off the table. They need somewhere to put these American dollars. So America says, perfect. Trump says, okay, CEO of Micron, CEO of Intel, CEO of Meta, CEO of Nvidia, you guys come and we can organize a place for these Chinese dollars to be put. Maybe they can fund your data centers. So then, and then in return, maybe China can get reduced tariffs on the oil, and that way they can organize long-term contracts. That way they get cheap, sustainable oil and the Americans get investments, and the CEO billionaires win because they get investment in their specific companies. It's a win-win for everyone. So it makes sense why this is happening, and Trump wants to get this deal across the line before he escalates with Iran. So this clearly is going to have a lot of market impacts, but no one realizes this quite yet. So we're going to show you. So the market impacts. So for stocks, I mean, I think it's fair to say that the big players are already bought in uh, already because they knew this deal is going to happen. They're essentially anticipating billions, potentially even trillions of dollars from China coming into their companies. So they're already bought in anticipation of this deal. So if you look at Micron on the weekly, look at that. It has done since March, so less than 2 months, it's done 150%. Keep in mind, guys, Micron is a multi-billion-dollar company. $890 billion market cap, number 16 company in the world. And it's doing this kind of movements. This is not natural. If you look at Intel, similar story. From March, they've done 192%. What market cap is Intel? $584 billion. These are not natural flows, guys. This is clearly billions of dollars entering in a very small amount of time. This isn't natural market flows like you would, pensions buying, so it's a steady melt up like you would have in a classic stock market situation. This is insiders, financial institutions buying in heavy. Even if you look at Nvidia, they're up as well since March, up almost 50%. And Nvidia is 5.7 trillion market cap. So that's about at least 1 or 2 trillion entering into Nvidia in the span of a month or 2 months. So this is clearly insider buying going on here. Clearly people knew this was going to happen. certain people on the inside knew this was going to happen. So they're already bought in, guys. And once news of a big deal between China and the US comes out, then retail are going to buy because retail aren't positioned for this yet. You still have people calling for a bubble, calling for a bubble. That's translation for I'm not fully positioned in the stock market or I've sold. Once they hear this news, they're going to start piling back in. I mean, look at these charts. Look at these charts, guys. Even Google. Since March, 45% as well. Absolutely ridiculous. And you know the classic adage, buy on the rumor, sell on the news. This is because the insiders with the money buy in, and then when the news drops, retail starts buying in, and these big institutions sell to match the retail's buying so they can realize their profit. Because these companies, or whoever's been buying here, I mean, these institutions, they're on massive, massive gains. And the economic situation is getting worse. So they're going to want to get out sooner or later. Now, for oil, I think Netanyahu said that there is still a lot of work to be done with Iran. This is in a recent interview. Let me find it very quickly for you guys. Yes, there we go. Found it. Let me just play this for you guys here.
Is the war with Iran over? And if it isn't, who will decide when it is?
I think it accomplished a great deal, but it's not over because there's still nuclear material, enriched uranium that has to be taken out of Iran. There's still enrichment sites that have to be dismantled. There's still proxies that Iran supports. There are ballistic missiles that they still want to produce. Now, we've degraded a lot of it, but all of that is still there, and there's work to be done.
How do you envision the highly enriched uranium will be removed from Iran?
This was from an interview 4 days ago, guys. And we know that Netanyahu is really the one calling the shots here. There's still work to be done, is translation for we need to escalate this war. So while the markets are digesting this bullish news of a Trump-China deal, you're gonna get a reaccumulation on oil. The mania and the upward price pressure driving oil up is gonna start calming down. So if we look here, I mean, very volatile oil has been. But you see every time it reaches these highs over here, it's just been getting sold into, sold into. So you're gonna see likely a period of accumulation for oil at these range lows, lower volatility as these big players want to position back in oil before a ground invasion where you're likely going to get a next leg up here. Obviously, you know, the lines are just to demonstrate the point. That's not how the price is going to move exactly. But yeah, because you have inflation going up. We don't want core CPI. Inflation. Yeah, inflation rate. Wow. So yeah, you have inflation going up, guys. It's starting to really spike up here because of the oil price. And this is only 1 month or 2 months of the war. So you're going to see it spike up more. Clearly worse situation. And also you have rate hikes getting more and more likely. Up for this year, up to 30%. It was much lower before because of this inflation. So that's going to kind of put a slowdown to this this market mania. But I think this deal is what's really been uh, pushing up the market here. And it's going to become news soon. So get ready. And we may see a market top soon. Let's see how this plays out, guys.